Hello there, Middle-earth Strategy Battle Gamers, and welcome to another Lotr SBG Team YouTube video. Today we are starting a vlog video, but it's going to be actually a little bit different journey vlog than the normal ones we do. Normally, Dan, Joe, or myself and other folks, we'll get together, we'll talk about when we go to an event hosted by either one of our local groups or another group from another state, and we'll tell about how we go to the event and our armies and all that good stuff. If you haven't seen those vlogs, go check them out. So I'm doing one of these journey vlogs, but unfortunately for you guys, we're not going to be talking about armies and rounds and stuff like that. So if that's what you're here for, I have to disappoint you. On the good side, we're talking about something that folks usually don't talk about, and I'm actually doing a journey vlog of how I'm building a board. Yes, I probably just lost a lot of you guys, and I apologize, but there's actually been some feedback out there about folks wanting to see stuff like that. So if you haven't heard, I am hosting a event in February called the Great Battle of the Carolinas. It's February 6, 2021. So I have to actually build a couple boards for that event because we sold out that event really fast. So if you're watching this and you're someone coming to the event, thank you for participating. Crazy amount of feedback we had on that. Actually added a couple spots that we had in reserve because of how much feedback we had. So today we're going to be talking about one of the boards that I am working on, and that is going to be the Bree board. So, excuse me, this is going to be a multi-part video. It's kind of be cutting in, cutting out. We're going to go over my ideas, my plans, what I came up with, stuff of that nature, what I'm using to build the board. So this is a board that I've been thinking about for a while, and I had talked to Blake Dixon, who was part of our Carolinas community for a while until he moved back to Arkansas because he was in Carolina for about a year for his doctor's residency. So Blake, huge shout out to you because you gave me a lot of inspiration and thought for this. But I had originally been thinking about doing the Bree board with a snow effect on it because I've seen a lot of people do that for Lake Town, and I was thinking, that'd be really cool though because Bree's one of those ones that we really don't have anything for it. There's not really a basis of what to see. The few times that we've seen Bree in both the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's dark, it's raining, it's wet, it's muddy. So I was thinking of doing something similar to that and then adding a snow effect. And then I decided that I'm just not going to do the snow because, unfortunately, I'm going to be on a bit of a time crunch because I have to do this and a Mines of Moria board. And this is the one that I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to put my extra love and my extra tender loving care towards. So this beginning of the video here, like I said, we're just going to talk about it, and then I'm going to actually have clips showing you the board, showing you my in process. So this is going to be a video that's going to be made over a number of weeks. So there'll be different lighting sometimes. There'll be me wearing different clothing. There'll be different stages that I'm going through. So I apologize for that. When you're watching this, you'll probably be like, whoa, how did you change your shirt 6 different times in like the last 4 shots? Well, that's because it's probably 6 different individual recording sessions. And then Dan, our wonderful editor, is going to edit them all together and make them look like a good video. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is my houses that I'm using. So I'm using Lake Town houses because I thought about using Rohan houses, but they are just too much. I wouldn't say wood. Yeah, kind of wood. Yeah, no, not wood. They look too much like Rohan. I mean, it's a hard job. They've got the roof and everything with the fletching, and I figured the Lake Town houses. Well, yes, they are Lake Town, and they're going to be noticeable. I'm going to give them a different color scheme, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute, and we'll go from there. And I think it'll be really cool. And I'm going to add some extra buildings and stuff. So I'm about to show you the buildings. You're sitting here probably thinking, shut up and just show them to us already. I apologize. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you my rough drawing of what I've done. And I'm going to show you where I'm at for building the board and the stuff that I'm using to do that. So give me a second, guys, and we will go over and we'll take a look at these Lake Town houses. Okay, team, so here we are. As I said before, we're going to go take a quick look at these buildings I have. So these are nothing more than lake town houses because unfortunately we really don't have much to go by from Games Workshop in order to build terrain houses. So I do have a bunch of lake town houses here that I was able to get pretty cheap because the person I bought them from just wanted the planks. And I was like, well, I was always thinking about this Bree board, like I said earlier on, and these kind of seem like the best way to go. So all I did was just take these houses, and then instead of doing a light brown color with a dark roof, I did more of a dark brown. I actually used Morphang Brown from Games Workshop, and then dry brushed them with Rhinox hide to give it that dark faded look. So that's why they kind of have this reddish tone. I figured maybe that'll be something to just kind of set them apart from all the others. So I mean, most of the Rohan houses, we have gray with dry brushing like white scar or something like that over it. So I went with this, like I said, Morphang Brown, which has more of a reddish hint to it, as you can see there. And I thought that would make a nice addition, make it look different from other lake town houses. Unfortunately, since they are still lake town houses, I do have all of these nets and the wrong side, like the chains and stuff. But I figure, you know, it is Bree. There is waterways near there. There are marshes and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a lot of fishing and things like that in order to get, you know, a large portion of their food. So then for the Prancing Pony itself, so these are 6 of the houses that are going to be in there. And then I built Prancing Pony, which I kit bashed a couple houses together. And then also included a stable here on the end, which I used a Rohan house for. And then I built this little platform on the front here. And I've got, you know, the sign with the Prancing Pony written on it. Let's see if I can do that. Unfortunately, let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that's my crappy handwriting, guys. I thought about trying to paint it on there, but realized I'm not a very good handwriter, so why would my painting of letters look any better than my handwriting? Which, let's be honest, it probably would not. So I went ahead and did that. And I know some folks are probably thinking, oh, why didn't you just leave them apart and try and, you know, why didn't you just try and paint them on before putting them on the building? Well, I actually glued everything into place, and then I based everything. I found that it's easier for me, paint everything up at the same time. So, I mean, most of it, as you can see, it's that same color brown. Let's see if I can get the light. There we go. Yeah, it's that same color brown right here for the pole that I used for the other portions of the house. And I wanted to do that so that I wouldn't glue it on, and when I dry brushed over it, it would have the same look. So the little top roof parts, I mean, these are the Rohan hutches, and they're hay as opposed to, you know, the shingle of normal houses. My thought is maybe, you know, it's the Prancing Pony, it's old, it's been expanded upon. I wish I had a little bit more money so I could get another house or two. I wouldn't mind having like another house come out this way, maybe at a right angle to it, so it'd make a T. But I'm working to try and maybe get another hutch and put it right here at the front, which is why I haven't painted these yet. If I can put another hutch here, I think that would look pretty cool. So I'd have a hutch here and a hutch here for entryways. And I got to finish up this doorway, as you can see. So nothing crazy. And then this is just, you know, this is going to be a stable, so to speak. Nothing crazy there. Just took the Rohan house, had inspiration from online, thanks to those who helped me out, and just, you know, basically didn't put the other half of the building there. So it works out pretty well. And then my idea for the paint scheme for these, you know, thatch or straw roof tops is that normally the Rohan ones were a lighter yellow, so I went with a darker yellow and then dry brushed it with a Goroth brown. Kind of give it like a faded look. Maybe it's starting to mold, maybe it's starting to rot away. I mean, the only times we really see Bree in the movies is when it's raining. I mean, you think about it, Sam and Frodo and Merry and Pippin get to Bree and it's raining. And then we see Bree again in Desolation of Smaug with Thorin, and it's raining again. So, I mean, we don't really see much of Bree except when it's nighttime and raining. So, you could almost say that, oh, it's raining a lot there. So, I mean, even if you play, I don't know, this is kind of off topic, but if you've ever played Lego Lord of the Rings, it's raining there, even in that game. So, yep, those are the houses. And next up, I'll show you guys what I'm doing to make the board for them to go on. So, stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so here we are. We're going to be looking at the board now that I have got going on together here. So, as you can see, I've actually made some progress on it. These brown parts are 2x2 ceiling tiles that I got from Lowe's for about, I think, $7 a piece. A little cheaper because I get a veteran's discount. But if you put them together, 2x2, 4 of them, you get a nice, perfect 4x4. Now, they're not exactly perfect. As you can see, there's a little bit of a crack here, and if I squeeze it together and then come up and look at this next tile, well, now there's a crack there. So now I'll squeeze that together, and guess what? Now there's a crack over there. So they're not perfect, but, that's actually not too, awful. I'm not going to, nitpick over it. For the most part, put together, as long as you take care of these ceiling tiles, and I've actually made several boards out of these already, they will hold up. So you guys are probably wondering, what the heck is the big, almost micrometer looking thing here in the center with this big, U and it's white, and like I said, it kind of looks like a micrometer with a thimble and all. And yeah, so this is actually going to be a road. So as you can see here, this is where it stops, and if you can see, I know the lighting's not perfect. Let me see if I can turn the light on my phone. Yeah, there we go. That actually works out really well. Okay, so you can see I've kind of traced out. So I've already laid out the buildings, and I have a rough idea of how this is all going to go together. And there's all my buildings over there. So, here, a quick look. I didn't show you guys all these buildings, so I have a couple more buildings here. This is a nice barn that I got from Crumlick, something or other. I can't. Crumlick Miniatures or something like that. It's I think it's like MDF board. Actually paints up real well. I don't know how well this is showing with the lighting. I'm sorry. This is my crappy $40 Go phone that I'm using as a camera. But it does better than my actual camera that I have, because that thing's like 5 years old and you get nothing but shutter clicks. So yeah, I got this, and it's a good size. I think it's going to have a nice footprint on the board, but it's just stable. And normally this stuff can actually, you're not supposed to glue the top down, because inside, let's see if I can get it. Yeah, you guys can see there's actually some really good detail in these buildings. So you can actually play inside of them, but I went ahead and glued it down because this is just going to be impassable terrain for the board. And then this here, I have this building. It's another Rohan building, and I kept trying to glue this darn thing together, but it kept falling off. I'm going to try to fix that. Okay, so there we go. So I built, I don't think I showed it in my last video, so you can see it keeps breaking apart here because, that's just how life goes. But this is going to be a blacksmith. You see I got 2 furnaces here. Got some coals going on in there. You got your bellows, you got some hammers and anvil. But yeah, that was some nice, these came from a nice, I think it's like a $9 kit I found on eBay. Really nice, really simple. And then I've got these barrels here. These are the barrels that come with, the houses and stuff. Went ahead and glued them all, painted them up, glued them together, make a nice little, barrel stature that's going to sit there. So, I've got this fencing here. Oh, and this piece here goes with the stable. So it'll just sit up on, one side or the other, like such. And I've got these, I haven't finished painting this one. I need to take it upstairs and do it because I keep forgetting. But I've got these Palisades. And this board is actually going to be a little bit different. And I've had a little bit of mixed results when I've asked people about this. But I do believe that sometimes the terrain should be able to mess you up a little bit. So this here, I'm going to have 2 of them. This one's going to sit here. The other one will sit on the other side. And this is actually going to be part of the board. And, because Bree, they did have the gates. So these gates, They will remain open during match play, during play, because I don't want them to completely block. But I thought this would make a nice little line of sight blocker. It could be really useful strategy wise, depending on scenarios. So these are going to be set up like that, and then I have the rest of the building set up like such. So anyway, back to all this white pasty stuff. This is actually nothing more than mud that you use to fix holes in drywall. And before, I've built, like I said, I've built 2 other these boards out of these 4x4 ceiling tiles before. And my roads, quote unquote, have been nothing more than usually drawing out a line, like you can see there, and then painting inside the line with another color to delineate a road. One of them I tried doing battlefield grass, and while it worked pretty well, the issue I found is in transportation. I use battlefield grass and battlefield rocks. In transportation, a lot of it falls off, and while it is pretty easy to replace, because for the most part I just use some wood glue and spread that in there, and then drop the stuff in and press it down on top. It's not perfect because you can see, again, these are ceiling tiles, so I know this isn't the best view. I'm trying to see if my phone will be nice and zoom in. There you go, that's a little bit better. You can see that they are ridged, obviously, and that's going to happen, but not a big deal. So I actually wanted to get a textured road, and one of our guys from the area, Chris, so shout out to you, Chris, for giving me this idea. I really appreciate it. Said what he does for his basing is he uses mud, just like this, and it's that goes on pink, dries white type mud, and you can see it's gone on pink, it's dried white now. And what he'll do is now he puts Mod Podge, puts it on the base, waits for it to dry, puts Mod Podge on to seal it or to keep it down, and then after the Mod Podge dries for a day, he actually paints it the color he wants, and then seals it with an acrylic sealer of some sort, a matte acrylic sealer. So I'm going to try that idea, and I feel like so far it actually looks pretty good. You can see I've got, again, I'm going to try and get in here. You can kind of see one, but I'm trying to get better ones. The light, if I turn the light off. Oh, yeah, that works. All right, so turn the light off. Yeah, you can see it kind of looks like the moon. You got some pits and stuff, some areas where, unfortunately, it came up. I was using a 2-inch putty knife, and I needed a darn 1 or 1 1/4, which I went out and bought. You see some nice tracks here. And, yeah, I feel like that'll work out much better. It'll give some texture. And while some of the stuff might flake off, you can see, it's flaking off right there. Not a big deal. I'll just kind of brush over it a little bit before I put the Mod Podge on. It'll nice little bump ridges. It'll give it some texture. It'll give the board some texture, something that might hopefully not break off. He says he's had a lot of success with it, and I'm going to follow his letter to the T on this because he's got the experience with it, and hopefully if I find something that works a little better, I'll do that. So these are the tiles that I'm using. Like I said, they're 2 foot by 2 foot ceiling tiles from Lowe's. They're like $7, $8 a piece. Like I said, they're not exactly perfect for holding in to a 2 by. I mean, they make a 4x4, but you're gonna have a few little cracks here or there because they're not gonna come together nicely. There's one there, a little bit right there. Not a lot, not a big deal. But they're actually white. They're not brown. This is the color they are. There's the barcode if you guys want to steal that. I just used some brown spray paint, again, that I got from Lowe's and just sprayed them brown. If you go this route, you need to clean the ceiling tiles off first. You need to take some wet water, maybe a little bit of Dawn dish soap or something, and clean the ceiling tiles off. Because while they're sitting there, they've got this ceiling tile dust. Ceiling tiles make dust. I can't think of what they're made of off the top of my head. But whatever they're made of, they kind of, when they grip together, sitting in a box, they leave fine particles of dust. And if you try and spray paint over it and then, paint it or do whatever, glue something onto it, it peels right off. So you got to clean it, kind of just like when dealing with Forge World models. And then you go from there. So I could have been doing this while I talked, and I'm sorry. This is the first time I've done this kind of review before, so you guys can bash me all you want in the comment section below. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I completely understand. So this is just kind of just going to throw some buildings on you. I don't have it memorized, so to speak. But this is just going to be a rough layout of what the board is going to look like when it's all said and done. So, it's going to kind of look like that. And then I've got a couple other buildings, so I'm not going to try and throw everything on there perfectly right now. I got a few outbuildings. They come with the Lake Townhouse set. So I'm gonna put those in there as well. I'm actually waiting for one more. I have a bake shop coming, and I have two fountains, and that's what this white or this Sharpie circle is. I can't see it with the light off. Oh yeah, so I turned the light on. There's the Sharpie circle. That's going to be where a well sits. I'm actually just going to mud this whole area and then glue the well down on top of it once it's sealed and everything. But I'm going to put the other well, I don't know, maybe over here or something like that. You got fresh water sources. My inspiration for this is actually from the Lord of the Rings online MMORPG game. And yeah, in one area of Bree, it comes in just like this, and then splits with the main road going up towards the Prancing Pony, and then this secondary road kind of coming around what they call Artisan's Way in the game. And that's where the... Hey guys, sorry, my phone actually got filled up on memory in the middle of taking that video. Like I said, this is the crappy little $40 Go phone, so memory is not very high. So anyway, we'll just sum this up real quick, talking about the board, and don't need to go on forever and ever with just sound bites and no picture. So like I said, the idea was inspired off of the Lord of the Rings Online, Lotr, MMORPG. And I said, you can come into that gate and go straight away, it goes to Prancing Pony, go to the right, takes you down Artisan's Lane, and that's where I plan on putting the bakehouse and my the fountain, the second fountain, and then the two, can't remember the name, blacksmiths / forges. So that's going to be how that goes through. From there, I plan on, once I get the mud done on the fourth tile, and I get the Mod Podge on, and it dries, and I paint it, and then I'm going to seal it with an acrylic sealer, a matte acrylic, that's all blokes, a matte acrylic sealer. From there, then it's just going and securing the buildings down onto the board. So I'm sure a lot of you guys know, especially with boards that have, what's it called? Can't think of the name. Movable pieces. We'll just do that. I can't think of it. You can customize the board by moving different terrain pieces around. There's a better name for it. I can't think of it. But I plan to actually secure those boards down. I've done that with my other two boards I made from ceiling tiles. And what I do is I use very small rare earth magnets and just, for a building or so, usually on the corners, slightly different areas. That way, if I put the wrong building in the wrong spot, it won't go because the magnets won't line up. But I glue those to the board and then to the bottom of the buildings, and those have worked out really, really well for me on those other two boards. So yeah, don't know what we'll be coming back to next, guys, because like I said, this is going to be an ongoing project. So I'll probably come back when I've finished painting and sealing the road, and when I am getting ready to start putting down the magnets is when we'll pick this back up again. And there's actually no telling when that might be. Could be in a couple days, could be tomorrow, could be 2 weeks from now. All depends on work schedule and how fast everything goes. So yeah, guys, stay tuned for the next cut, and we're going to be looking at that. Okay, little TRSPG team fans, this is it. This is the finished product for the Bree board. So came out pretty good, I think. I kind of want to do something still with this brown in the future, maybe a little bit of a dry brush, but for now I am content with it, and I think it will make a good board for our upcoming event on the 6th. I have not completely I can't think of the word magnetized every piece The things that I did magnetize were the GW stuff. So like this piece here, an example, for example, this nice center fountain, it is not going to be magnetized down. My reason being is I want to be able to take it out for the future, or maybe depending on what a scenario might be, it might not do so good. Or if I want to in the future, switch it out with this fountain over here just to kind of keep, you know, things looking a little different. As you can see, this one's got a large top for, you know, little like mini fountains to go through. And I'm thinking about maybe putting some water effect in these. And then that one over there, it's just kind of got a little bit of a singular fountain. But for now, I have this one and it works out good. And then I didn't magnetize down this furnace here or this building, and I'm okay with that. For now, that'll be all right. And then this large stable here is not either. So yeah, guys, that is the finished product. The only thing that I'm actually missing right now at this second, and I need to work on them, but they are kind of minor details. It's just one of those things where we play the boards like, yeah, they're there. We'll just go with it. On this part here, and then on this part here, I have two of the ladders from the Palisades kits that I just need to paint up real quick and throw on there. Shouldn't take much time at all. Oh gosh. But you can see I have magnetized that all down. Now I gotta reset it real quick. Here we go. And then all these other large buildings are magnetized down as well. So like for example, this large one here, you can see I've got it magnetized down. And then what I do is I put I write what's supposed to go there. So this one's kind of obvious because of the fact that that's, you know, my prancing pony, so to speak. But it fits there. But the other ones like this, you know, there you go. I have a, I think that, what does that say? H4, kind of hard to see. And then on the inside here, I've written H4. So I know that this is house 4. This is where house 4 needs to go. That way the magnets that are set up on the bottom here, you can see it. My phone's not wanting to really do a nice job of, come on, maybe if I just pull out. There we go. It's not really wanting to, oh, what's the word? Clarify. Not clarify. Focus. There we go. It's not really wanting to focus, but you can see. And you can see the patterns here for these magnets. So if I try and put the wrong one in the wrong spot, it's obviously not going to work. My goal is usually when I build these to make it so like the magnet patterns are a little bit different every single one. So you can see on that one, it was really close in the corner there. And I'll show you again. So that's like the only house I have that's really close in the corner. So if I try and grab one and, you know, I've got 4 evenly spaced out magnets around the edges of the building. So I'm trying to put it back on. I know you guys are looking at nothing right now while I'm trying to put it in place. That's the other thing, is they can sometimes be tricky to try and get just to line up on the magnets. There we go. But, you know, the magnets aren't perfect. They're not going to hold it in place. I mean, watch. I'm not hitting it too hard, but good solid hit. The whole purpose for me with the magnets is just that, hey, okay, we bump the terrain, and I'll be honest, I'm a fat fingerer when it comes to playing. You know, I get nervous and I get shaky, especially when you're playing with a new person for the first time. Your hands kind of get that whole like, you know, more from excitement than fear. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're scared. I'm just saying you're kind of excited. It's like, hey, it's a new person, you know, new army. But yeah. So that is the Bree board. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this little video series. It did take a lot longer than I wanted it to. I wanted this to be done. I started working on this board. Oh, heck. I had the concept drawn out before I even lost my little job. So that was prior to the end of October of 2020. And we're sitting here now, and today's the 23rd, 24th, something like that, of January. So I've been kind of on and off with it. You get motivation, you lose motivation. Life gets in the way. And then just the facts of having to do work and just live life. But yeah, I got a couple of these little outbuildings here. I think they're pretty cool. I would like maybe to get another outbuilding or two in the future. Maybe put it here in the middle. But that open area is pretty good for large base models. I would say this is probably not going to be a board that people who have large base models, i.e. The Moomock, or even worse so to say, the Iron Hills Chariot, are going to like. But I am a strong proponent in believing that the board being a good, if you're trying to play competitively, then the board can, you know, put you in the rear. and you have to be able to adapt and overcome for that. Case in point, I mean, that's why I put these Palisades here. A good competitive player is going to be able to find a way to use these Palisades as a strength, not just a weakness or a setback. So, for example, if you're playing Storm the Camp, and your opponent picks that far corner and you've got to deploy here, yeah, this is going to hurt you. Obviously, for a larger point event, I would probably make some allowances, because these are going to be kind of hard to put a very large army in this little area. But that being said, you should be able to figure a way to use this. Yes, your disadvantage is going to be deploying back behind here. You're going to have to move forward. Your advantage is going to be when your opponent tries to get in here for Storm the Camp. Now you've got a much easier way to protect. No, I'm not going to allow for these to be closed. They are going to remain open at all times. But again, it's much easier for you to protect this. I mean, you could put a couple cav models back here and then have a line and push to the center with that line of foot troops, like a spear and shield wall, and keep your opponent back, and then shoot your cav out in a flanking maneuver. So, you know, you got to be able to use the terrain. What I'm going to rule for this event and for this board in general, impassable terrain is going to be, you know, that forge. That is supposed to be a forge. In the future, I'd like to maybe paint that red on the base to show that, yeah, that's where the forge is. But yeah, you can't go walking on the forge. It's a fire. It's hot. Get the heck away from it. So that'll be impassable. You have to move around it. You can't even climb on top of it. Nothing of that nature. This stable cannot enter. You can go here if your model fits under there. You can go inside here. Foot models may walk up onto here. No cavalry, no monsters, you know. And that's actually going to be a big thing, because one of the scenarios for this event is capture and control. So guess what? One of the points is going to be right here in the middle for the objectives. So you're going to have to figure out what infantry model you're going to use to get up there. So, and then for the only other thing I would say is right here I have an opening for the stable underneath here. And yeah, I say foot models can go under there, but that would be it. But yeah, guys, that's the board. Nothing amazing, nothing great. Excuse me. I wish I had come up with this idea to show you how I built a board when I did my 2 Rohan ones. I personally think they're a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're just nicer. Unfortunately, with this being Bree, you know, my thought process, for the most part, when we see Bree in the movies and everything, it is raining. It is nasty and ugly and disgusting out. So that's why I kind of went with all this brown on brown on brown. I used this red here. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Morphane Brown or something like that. It's the reddish brown for the buildings, because I wanted something that kind of stood out as opposed to just Goroth or Rhinox hide. And then I did dry brushing with Rhinox to kind of make it look a little different, make it look faded. But yeah, guys, so that's the board. We will be doing battle reports on this in the future for the channel. Say hi, Herm. Oh, and Dust Bunny. Oh, kittens. And other events. So look forward to seeing that coming out in the future. And for now, guys, just please like, share, subscribe. You know, support your Hobbit hobby, and enjoy playing Lord of the Rings and everything to do with it. And stay safe and sane out there. We'll check you guys later in future videos. Take it easy.